Ẹ káàbọ̀ sí YSDM TV. Olú Ayégbókìkí lórúkọ ti tèmi. Lónìí, a máa fọ̀rọ̀ jomitoro ọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀lú bàbá wa Prof Banji Akintoye lórí àwọn nǹkan kan tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ìran Yorùbá. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Bàbá, ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta.
Ẹ ṣé, mo dúpẹ́.
Ẹ bá kí àwọn tí wọ́n ń wà nínú ilé.
Kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, mo kí yín nílé lóko, mo kí yín ní diaspora, in every country of the world ṣẹ́ bá wà. Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ ìwádìí, ẹ kú àforítì o, ẹ kú ìfaradà ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà. We have found ourselves in a country that we do not deserve to be in. But the situation is tough, but you are tough too. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run.
Ẹ ṣeun. Kóríta tá a wà yìí ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ti ń retí pé ibo ni nǹkan dé dúró. Ǹjẹ́ ẹ lè ṣàlàyé fún wa ibi tí nǹkan dé dúró báyìí nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lápapọ̀?
My message tonight is not for Yoruba people alone.
All right, sir.
It's for all the peoples of Nigeria. I'm sure that I am not presuming anything when I say that I'm one of the elder statesmen of Nigeria today. My stake in Nigeria is deep and abiding. In the peoples of Nigeria, deep and abiding. I have raised children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren into Nigeria. I have taught generations upon generations of Nigerian children and young adults in schools and universities all my adult life. I have a stake in the well-being of all Nigerian people. I'm best known today as a major fighter for the self-determination of the Yoruba people. But that does not mean that I do not have a stake in the well-being of all Nigerian people. For one thing, I'm a Yoruba man. And I was raised in the highest levels of traditional Yoruba society. We Yoruba don't hate any other people. We don't. So I was raised to love all people of Nigeria, of Africa, of the world. That's the character of Yoruba culture. And so what I say tonight is of utmost importance to Nigeria. Not only to my Yoruba people, but to Nigeria. We are living in a country in which we leaders, the leaders of society, are not being realistic about what is happening to our people, about what is happening to our country, about the possibilities, the horrible possibilities that show before us. We started by saying we celebrated independence, but we started to fight one another immediately after independence. And every one of the persons who have ruled Nigeria, almost every person who has ruled Nigeria, has left us a clear message that we choose to ignore. Our father, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, said, Nigeria is not a nation, just a mere geographical expression, that there are no Nigerians. in the same sense as there are Englishmen or Frenchmen or Welsh also. The man who was first Prime Minister of Nigeria, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, who was Prime Minister of Nigeria when I was young, as an undergraduate in Ibadan, said repeatedly, not just once, said repeatedly that Nigeria, there is nothing called Nigerian unity. That the peoples of Nigeria are different in every imaginable sense, in culture, in religion, in worldview, in everything. And that they do not show any inclination to unite, to be united and be a country. That what we call Nigerian unity is just British intention for Nigeria, no more. In 1952 or 53, after I had been Prime Minister for a year or two, he visited the North and addressed the Northern House of Assembly. And he said before the House of Assembly, I am being told from all angles in the North, by my people in the North, or it was a Northern, by my people in the North, that the peoples who are streaming to the North from the South, the Yoruba, the Igbo, and others, are strangers here, are aliens here. And seriously speaking, they are not welcome. That was the Prime Minister. In 1964, he paid a visit to the University of Ibadan. And he was received in a big open air ceremony in Cheddar Hall, my hall. And he said there, among the many things he said that day, he said, one of the reasons why Nigeria's problem will remain forever insoluble is that the mistake was made in the beginning to include the three largest nations in Black Africa in this one country. That there is no solution to that. The problem is insoluble. So we've been playing politics in which ethnic conflicts, ethnic animosities dominate the politics of our country. Negotiations among our political leaders is based upon defense of our own perceived interests of our ethnic group. So it is not surprising that we went to a civil war, secession, and a civil war soon after independence. It is not surprising also that our men in the military could not stand the politicians, could not tolerate them, regarded them as bloody civilians, and so took advantage of every mistake that the politicians made to seize control, sometimes in bloody coups. And the group that became dominant in the military from 1966 July, who carried out coup after coup after coup, were all Northerners. And what they did was what every group would have done. That is, attract all power, all resource, everything to their own region. It's unfair to accuse any Nigerian for doing that, because that's what every Nigerian would do. There is no sense of unity that will make a Nigerian ruler see Nigeria broadly. In 1975, after our father, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, came out of the Gawan government, military government, after the Civil War, in the quality, from the quality of mind that he controlled, he came to the conclusion that we should make a serious effort to build Nigeria. We had made a mistake. We had made a series of mistakes, serious mistakes. And we had ended up fighting a civil war in which more than 3 million of our citizens had been killed by Nigeria. And that if really we want Nigeria, this is the point at which we must now rise from the dust of that disaster and build a country. Fortunately, we were now producing wealth in oil, and we should use the resources to build Nigeria, to build the peoples of Nigeria, to build the people of Nigeria, and give them comfort and significance in the world. I wrote the manifesto of that party that our father Awolowo founded. And we who are young intellectuals in the party used to brag that we were on the path of building Nigeria into the black man's world power of modern times. But it never happened. Nigeria is not ready to be developed. Nigeria cannot be developed. Nigeria has never worked and can never work. And it is time to stop blaming anybody and to accept the reality. Finally, we have come to an era now, since 2015, from the beginning of Muhammadu Buhari's presidency. We have now come to the beginning, to an era in which we are killing one another actively without a war. The Fulani say, we've never had a homeland, but now we must have a homeland. And from all that we Fulani can see, God has given us Nigeria for a homeland. It's our duty to take it by force. What are the indications that they saw? What are the divine indications that they claim to see? One, when the first Fulani people came to Hausa land in the early 19th century, they were just a handful of people. And yet, things happened in such a way that the Hausa themselves handed their country over to us, and we Fulani became the rulers of Hausa land. That's God in action. We couldn't have done it. We did not command the number to do it. But the Hausa people did it for us. Then the British came as colonial overlords. And from all the logic of the situation, we were the last kind of people they should have made friends with. But they chose us as their favorites. The people they called friendly people, the Fulani. If they were to choose the people who were like themselves, they should have chosen the Yoruba who were already well-educated, producing university graduates and so on since the 1860s. But they didn't. They chose us. And when they were about to leave, they manipulated everything and handed the country over to us. That's God in action. We couldn't have done that by ourselves. So God has given us Nigeria. And what we need to do now is to create a homeland. We've never had a homeland. Our own ancestors never settled in a homeland. But we must now have a homeland. And that homeland has to be Nigeria. And the way to do it is to conquer it. That's why people have been dying in Nigeria since 2015. And they brought religion into it, adopted radical Islamism, radical fundamentalist jihadist Islam as an instrument of the conquest. So all this, we want to establish a Sharia and so on. It's not a religious program at all. It's a political program meant to quieten the people down, find our way into their minds, and take over their life. That's all. Under Buhari, the government did not only ignore the killings, the government actually became a partner with the Fulani in the killing, became an active contributor to the killing. The whole world knew that. An important Middle Belt general said that the Nigerian army is not defending the people being attacked. They are giving protection and cover to the people who are attacking them. And that if any of you Nigerian peoples, if you think that the army is coming to defend you, you will all die, you will all be killed one by one. That's a man who had held the important position of Minister of Defense for Nigeria before he retired. So why are we holding on to something that we cannot hold? Why are we pushing something that we cannot push? Isn't it time for us to be men enough, courageous enough to let go and let each people go and find some way to handle their own lives, their own future? And if anybody thinks that the Fulani thing is only temporary, it is not temporary. The Fulani themselves say again and again, we are ready to fight this for decades, even centuries, until we have subdued these people. And if there is any one of them that refuses to surrender, we must be ready to wipe them out, to eliminate them from the face of the earth. We are ready to go on doing so. I have sat in a meeting in which a governor of a Middle Belt state read that kind of letter from the Fulani to a large crowd of people. I have been there as a representative of the Southwest. What happened is that in the Benue state, the Fulani had written a letter threatening in December 2017 or so, or 2018, that they were coming to wreak terrible vengeance on the people of the state, because the government had made taken the audacious step of trying to regulate cattle herding in his state. So we're coming because the land belongs to us. And they had come on the first day of January the next year and killed more than 80 people and wiped out about 6 villages. It was so horrifying at the time that the leaders, the leading organizations, elders organizations in the South and Middle Belt decided to go, and the South decided to send condolence to the people of Benue State. 4 of us were chosen from the Yorubas, Southwest, Ifade Banji, myself, and 2 younger people, Yinka Odumakin, and I think the 4th one is former Governor Mimiko. And we went to this, we joined the others in Abuja, and we flew together to Benue State. The governor of Benue State had invited all the elite of Benue State to receive us. It was a huge hall filled with the leaders of the Middle Belt of Benue State. And our leaders expressed condolence and so on and so forth. Then the governor stood up, thanked us, said, these people wrote a letter to us in November that they were coming to kill us. They came on January 1. We showed the letter, we sent it to the President of Nigeria, to the Vice President of Nigeria, to the Chief of the Nigerian Army, the Chief of the Nigeria Police. Nobody did anything, and the Fulani came and really did what they said they would do, kill us. Now you have come from various parts of the South and also some part of the Middle Belt to condole us. Thank you for your condolences. But there is another letter that the same people have written to us between that January 1 and today. And I will read that letter for you. I was sitting in the front row. So the governor was just about 6 feet from me, in front of me. I had the letter clear. We all had it. We read it very clearly. The whole large crowd had it clearly.
What was the content of the letter?
The letter said, Mr. Governor, we see that you are carrying out mass burial and conducting national mourning. But what has happened to you is a little bit of, just a tip of the iceberg of what is coming to happen to you. What we are bringing to you is a lot bigger than what you are now lamenting. And what is your offense before us? Your offense is that the ethnic groups that live in your state, the chiefs, whatever, think that the land on which they live is theirs because they have lived on it for thousands of years. We Fulani are now telling them it is not theirs. It belongs to us Fulani. Allah has given it to us. And we have a reason to take it. And we are not talking of the ethnic groups in Benue State alone. We are talking of ethnic groups in all parts of Nigeria. The Yoruba in the southwest, Igbo in the south, so on and so on. Yes, the land belongs to us Fulani, and we are coming to take it. And we have accumulated enough wealth, enough money, and enough military hardware to fight the war and win. And we have trained large numbers of our young people as mujahideen. And if you think your federal government can defend you, you are deceiving yourself. We are coming, and we will take your homeland from you. That's what we are dealing with. What country in the world lives the way Nigeria lives? That a section of the country says we are going to wipe all the rest of you out. and they're trying to do so. And the rulers of Nigeria, the politicians of Nigeria are saying we go on nevertheless. We go on with this nevertheless. We don't have a statistics of how many people were killed under Buhari because the Buhari government was not interested. But some young Yoruba boys got together and put together some statistics of the Fulani killings in Yoruba land in 2015 to 2023. They said that they had calculated that 29,000 Yoruba people were killed in those 8 years. Then Buhari left, and another president took his place. This time, a Yoruba man. The southerner, a Yoruba man. President Bola Tinubu's presidency is not helping, it's not complicit in the killings. But it's not doing anything because it cannot do anything about the killing, to stop the killing. He doesn't even mention it. He doesn't mention it. And then there was published in December 2023 some statistics by the Nigerian National Bureau of Statistics, which said that between May 2023, when President Tinubu took over as president, and April 2024, 11 months, the first 11 months of President Tinubu's presidency, a total of 614,935 people were killed in all parts of Nigeria. 614,935 people killed. That a total of 2,235,000 people, 236,000, 2,236,000 were kidnapped in all parts of Nigeria. That 206,000 plus were killed in the Northwest. 188,992 were killed in the Northeast. That 15,000, over nearly 16,000 were killed in the Southwest. That of the money that various Nigerian families and friends and so on paid as ransom for the people kidnapped, the Bureau of Statistics had calculated that 2.2 trillion naira was so paid. Why are we deceiving ourselves? Why are we trying to keep this kind of country together? Our politicians are now talking of 2027 election. Is that what is in this circumstance? Our president is a very knowledgeable person, yes, and he's talking, oh, don't worry, things will get better. We'll put the economy together. How can you put the economy together when this is happening? What magic is anybody going to perform that will put the economy of a country together in which these kinds of things are happening? It's not possible. The producers of wealth have been driven from the land, the farmers. In the south, the middle belt, and the north. And I can say confidently that at least in the southwest, agriculture is virtually dead. There's no productivity in the land anymore because it is dangerous to go and try and produce on the land. People are still being killed. More and more people are being killed today than when Tinubu came to power. So if we do a calculation of how many Yoruba people have been killed, our boys said 29,000 were killed under Buhari. The Bureau of Statistics said 15,000, 16,000 were killed in the first 11 months of President Tinubu's presidency. And more people have been killed in Yoruba land since these statistics were put together between April 2024 and today, so that it is possible that as many as 25,000 Yoruba people have been killed under President Tinubu. And yet we are talking about, oh, the economy will revive. Where will we? How do you want to revive the economy in this circumstance? Not only was the economy of the Yoruba land being destroyed under Buhari, he also took the step of ensuring that Yoruba people will not get food from any other source. He blockaded the border between Nigeria, between the Yoruba of Nigeria and the Yoruba of Benue Republic. And the border remains shut today. And Yoruba people are being told, don't worry, things will get better. We all saw Yoruba women traders from both sides crying at the border after the border was closed, begging to be allowed to do the trade that they have been doing since their youth. And they were refused. And the border remains closed today. The trade that had always gone from border to border has died. And yet we are being told the economy will improve. How are you going to improve the economy? In the Middle Belt, more than 1 million people have fled from their homeland, from their farms and villages, and ended up in internally displaced people's camps. And we are not doing anything to bring them back. We are not doing anything to protect them. And yet we are saying, oh, the economy will improve. How can it improve?
Sir, in a situation like this, sir, what do you think Nigeria can do to bring back the glory?
There is no glory. There has never been a glory. Don't you use the wrong word.
Okay, sir.
What can we do?
Okay, what can we do?
Yeah. And what we can do is what we in the Yoruba self-determination struggle have been pleading for 7 years now. Let those who want to depart from this disaster depart. Better still, do what Gorbachev did in the Soviet Union in 1991. Gorbachev saw that the country was already in terrible condition and was about to blow up and lead to a civil war that would have taken millions of lives. And he gradually moved the country towards dissolution and resigned as president. That's what Nigeria needs today. Look at the social media. What do people talk about in the social media concerning Nigeria now? Nigeria is about to break up. I read something which some small ethnic groups say, we would rather join the Yoruba if Nigeria breaks up. We would rather join the Igbo if Nigeria breaks up, and so on and so forth. The talk in the minds of most Nigerians now is departure from the disaster. Why are we deceiving ourselves? Let these peoples go, and let them go and take care of their own future. And maybe our children in the future, when we have settled down and created prosperous, smaller countries, will be able to make friends with and may be able to help one another, even though they belong to different countries. My advice is to all Nigerians, whether you come from a big region or a big ethnic group or a smaller ethnic group, my advice. The big ethnic groups are ready to go. The Hausa now are saying they too want to go. They want their own sovereignty. The Yoruba and the Igbo, those are the three largest. But the fourth largest, are also saying they want to go. They've written a letter to the president saying that they want to go. Events of the past week has strengthened that movement towards separation from Nigeria. The answer is clear. Let each people find their own way to organize their future. The Middle Belt is a little more problematic than the South, in the sense that there are hundreds of ethnic groups, small ethnic groups there. But they are hardy, warlike people, and they can organize themselves into a large country, which would be a large country, from border to border, from eastern border to the western border of what is now Nigeria. Or they could take the step of engineering two different countries. One focus on what is now Plateau State, and the other focus on what is now Benue State. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
But continuing to hold on to Nigeria and making arrangements for
2027.
An election in 2027 is not the right thing to do at this time. And if people like me keep quiet and let this terrible disaster go on and say nothing and do nothing, the world will blame us in the end. We know what is happening. We know that this country is not viable anymore. Nigerians are killing one another. Okay, while this is happening, the Fulani bribed some Yoruba Muslims to go and say, we want to establish Sharia. Is Sharia what the Yoruba need now? And what was the purpose for the Sharia? To use it to undermine the Yoruba nation. My brethren, some of you are older than myself. Some of you are among the persons I have known and respected all my life. Some of you were my teachers at school. People in their 80s whom I taught at school or university. And we all together are elder statesmen in our land now. It is wrong for us to keep quiet and see this disaster that is growing. Especially because we are heading towards an all-out war. And when that war comes, it's going to be a war of all against all in Nigeria. And the number of people killed by that war will horrify the world. And that war will lead to massive humanitarian disaster that will wreck most of West Africa. We have a duty. Keeping quiet is refusing to carry out our duty to our people, to the future of our people. And so that's my message to people of my age, people slightly younger than myself, people older than myself. Let us speak out. Let us intervene. Don't leave the thing to the politicians who are seeking personal glory, personal accomplishment, re-election, and so on. Don't let that happen to us. Don't let us be among the people who will be counted some years from now as the traitors who betrayed their people, who saw their people going the path to perishing hundreds of thousands and said nothing. Today, the world is blaming some of the leaders of Yugoslavia, particularly one of them who was the most powerful politician in the country, Milosevic, manifestly breaking up, just as Nigeria is manifestly breaking up now. And he kept saying, no, it's not going to break up. He was maneuvering for Serb advantage in the country. When it blew up, it led to the worst inter-ethnic, inter-people's conflict in the history of the modern world. Horrible things happened in Yugoslavia that the world will never forget. Horrible things like that are coming to happen in Nigeria unless we do something now.
Thank you, sir.
That is why I decided to make this, to put this message together tonight. Not for the Yoruba people alone, but for the peoples of Nigeria. I repeat, I have a stake. I am one of those who has taught countless thousands, probably millions of Nigerian boys and girls in the universities. I have been a teacher all my adult life, except for the 4 years I spent in the Nigerian Senate, 1979 to 83. I have personal friends among almost every major people in Nigeria. My stake, I repeat, in the welfare of the peoples of Nigeria. My stake is massive and deep. And I must not go to my grave refusing to address that. That's what I'm saying to my brothers who are older than myself or who are a little younger than myself. You have a stake. You have to stand up and address it and stop deceiving yourself. The future of Nigeria is not in the hands of the politicians anymore. It is in the hands of a fate that can be terrible when it comes. Thank you very much.